Welcome back, guys. So I'm back to work on the Lynx. This is the second video. In the pinned comments, you can find the reference photo as well as the photo you can use to create your own drawing. And then in each video, this is the second, I'll explain what colors I'm using. But if for any reason I don't have a color, or I'm using a color you don't have, you can easily Google it. Google a color name and then find one that matches the ones you have. On my website, it's linked in the description. You can, description of the page, you can find other free tutorials as well. Okay, so we are working on this Lynx. We did the eyes, ears, started with some of the markings. I'm gonna come in with the Payne's Gray to go in between the markings and then down the face. So because the Lynx has short fur, you want to capture that by creating small marks. And since we're in a light area and Payne's Gray can get pretty dark, we want to go with really light pressure, but really tiny pencil strokes, because that's going to make all the difference for capturing that short fur. If you do long pencil strokes, then you're going to end up with it looking like it has long hair, which will work great around the sides of the cheeks and stuff, but not for what we're doing right now. So there are areas that are pretty blonde and white in certain spots, so we just got to be careful not to bring that in. But that's the nice thing about, again, about light pressure. You can always go in and erase it. If you do hard pressure, you ain't gonna be able to do that. Okay, so we're just slowly moving our way around, making sure, and you're gonna hear me say this a million times, to the point where I drive myself nuts, but you have to watch. The biggest thing with doing fur, you have to watch the direction of the fur. So that's why I have the picture blown up of just the face, so I can see the fur direction better that way, because it does change. It will swoop. It kind of goes on an arc, or on an arch. Wow. And then it goes down the sides, and then it comes around and around the nose. It's going to be really weird. So it makes a big difference to make sure that you're paying attention to those little details, because that's going to make all the difference when you're doing your picture. So we're just going lightly over with a Payne's Gray. It gets lighter right here, but then it gets really dark above it. So what I'm going to do right here to about, comes right around to about here. It's very dark and then gets light. So I'm just going to go in and do a few extra layers of the Payne's Gray to make it darker. Not as dark as the black that is the markings, but almost, because it is dark from a shadow in that area. And it is important to do these little steps, because if you don't, it's not going to look as realistic. And that's the whole idea. So it takes some time, but it's worth the patience, especially with going a little bit slower and building up the color. And then right there, we'll leave. And then we're going to make this just a tad bit darker, but we do have lighted areas in certain spots. So we need to watch where the light's being cast down, which is almost right at the beginning, but it stops right about here. Comes down, the natural shading here. So we're not making it as dark as this, but we're making it just a little bit darker than the other. So that way it looks like the light is being cast down on the fur. And then it comes down. Let's see, where is that blonde hair there? The blonde goes into this area, so we're going to leave that. And then right here it gets a little bit darker again, not much. And it comes right down the front. And it's pretty light here. Pretty light here still. A little bit darker here, not much. And then it comes in a little bit just along the edge of the head here. Again, you gotta be watching the direction of the fur. Okay, so that way it gives it sort of dimension. It shows where the light is hitting it and then where there's more shadow cast. So here we'll leave this light, since it's light, like that's where light's hitting it. And then we're gonna come down and go in the direction towards this way, because that's the direction of the fur. Now I'm gonna stop here because right here there is a blonde, like a really light cream color there. And I think I'm going to use ivory for that spot. So again, just little tiny pencil strokes, light pressure. And just bring it right to the end. Just like that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, actually we'll get this side in first too. So this side stays pretty dark. Right around here. So we're going to darken this area up as well, a little bit darker than the rest. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. And then we're going to leave it a little bit light right there because it is light in the picture. A little bit of that blonde comes down. And then here it's just very, very, very light around the sides. And then the same here. We're just going to bring this down lightly here. And up here, still a bit dark. And you can see where we brought in the indenting tool to make the hair and the hair stick out. But we're also gonna start seeing some of the whiskers come in as we go around. So again, we're just watching the direction of the fur and going very lightly around the side of the eye. And it seems like the closer we get to the eye, the almost blonde it gets. And we don't want to put too much dark in there because we don't want it to look muddy and green and gross. We don't want it to look gross. Okay, we're just going to come down there. Now I'm going to get my pencil eraser and just take out the guideline I had right there along the side of the face and on this side. Okay, and then I'm going to erase the ones under the eye. I don't know why I ever really put them in because I never go with them and I end up having to erase them anyways, so I don't really see the point, but whatever. Okay. So now we're going to start obviously under the eye and bring it down. I'm going to come in first with, I'm going to try the ivory first in this eye area that's really light. It comes down right to the side of the eye. Make sure not to get in the black or else you're going to make it, you're going to discolor it. So try as best as you can not to. And it comes out a bit and then around. It's not overly noticeable, but it's not overly noticeable in the picture either. So you'll see it more when we start bringing in the hair that's down the nose. But for now, you're not really going to see it that much. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. Try to avoid those darker colors. And then it comes up into here a little bit. And right here. And then it comes underneath the eye, about here. And then same with on the other side. It comes out a little bit. I'm just gonna do a better job at erasing my marks here. And right there too. It didn't seem like it did any difference, but whatever. Trying to avoid that black that I just brought into the picture by accident. And then come down a little bit here. And then we're going to come back in with the Payne's Gray. Actually, I don't know. I want to look. I want to look at the grays for a sec. I'm going to come in actually with the Warm Gray. Do I want Warm Gray 3? Yes. Yes, warm gray 3. You're gonna have to give me an hour to find it, because they're all together. Warm gray 4, I don't want that one. I know a faster way to do this would be just to whip out them all out and just look. Okay. Warm gray 6, we don't want that one. Where are you? There we go, warm gray 3. So the reason why I'm picking this one is it's not like it's got a brown tinge, but almost. When you put darker pressure, it's got more of a softer color to it, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something different that I want in this picture. So remember, even if you can barely see it, try to avoid the area you just did in the ivory, and just tiny, tiny, tiny little pencil strokes, very lightly. Now, remember, you're watching the fur direction, which does change a lot on the nose, like a lot. So you need to be very careful, because that's where most people kind of screw it up. Okay, myself included. So we're just sort of coming down, and this is where you want to be like very watchful of your reference picture to see where it is that it's coming down. Okay, so there's a bit of gray there. And then I'm going to bring in the gray under the eyes. There is the ivory underneath that as well. So we're just coming in with light pencil strokes. Watching that fur direction, because it does change very quickly. And if you're going in the right way, you will catch it and be able to sort of turn your pencil naturally in that direction and make it look more natural. So I'm just going around the side of the muzzle here just to sort of mark that in, so that way when we go down the nose, it's gonna make it a little bit easier to know where we're going, like where we're coming from. And do the same on this side. It's kind of a little circle there. Sorry about the jiggling of the camera. It's because you guys are in like a mount that has like the vice grip to it, and that makes it jiggle on the desk, which is really annoying. So I've got to find a better place for you guys. I just don't really have anything sitting here that will do that. Okay, so we're still using the warm gray 4, and we're going to come right up here, just looking to see the fur. Now, when it goes in an arch, you want to do that with your pencil, because that will help create the dimension. Okay. Now, I think what I'm going to do before I even start the rest of the nose is to do in the actual nose itself, which I'm going to do the outside of with the dark gray. I might even do the sepia. Let me see, what is this? This Payne's gray? No. Okay, I'm gonna get the dark sepia out. And I'm just going to go around the nose, because it does go around it entirely, and then up a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of go in lightly at first until we've got it the way we want it to be. You don't want to rely on the sketch. Okay, and there's the little nostril there. And their head is turned slightly to the side, which means that you're going to see a little bit more of one side of the nose than the other. So this little line goes all the way up the nose and goes out a bit. And kind of goes like this. And then we don't really see too much of the nostril on this side. Okay. And then I'm just going to make this a little bit flatter on the top. And then here it comes down. Just sort of like this. And then on this side, does the same thing. It comes out right at the side of the nose here, just a little bit, and then it comes out a bit more and gets a lot thicker. I'm just gonna thicken this side up a little bit too. Okay. So inside the nose, I'm gonna start off with the beige red. And I'm gonna go over all of it except for the gray area that we just did in. So this can be our base color for the nose. Okay. And then I'm gonna bring in, what's the other color here I picked? Pompeian red. I'm not sure, it's spelled weird. I should have sharpened that. Anyways, so we're just looking for the dark areas of this part of the nose, and we're just sort of lightly putting in light pressure, putting them in that dark area. So we're kind of going in the center here. And then just slightly down around the bottom. And then it covers majority of this side. Except for that little bump there. The side it does not cover. And then I'm going to come in again with the beige red right over top of both and blend it out. Light to medium pressure. There we go. And then I'm going to come in with the dark sepia again around the nose. And just darken up those lines that we already have in there. So just following them around. Just going nice and slowly. It is warm in here, holy God. And there's a bit of gray that comes down over the pink right there. So I'm gonna put that in there too. And then just sort of bring the gray out here, bring it down. Okay. And then I'm just gonna take right at the very end of the nose, where it starts into the bridge of the nose, I'm just gonna do little tiny pencil strokes just to start off. And I mean really tiny. It'll just sort of thicken up that line, but also show where the start of the fur starts. And there is a bit of the beige red in the nose as well, and then it almost gives like a violet hue in there. So we're gonna have to get that in there as well, those colors. Okay. And I'm gonna come back in with the Payne's Gray. Actually, do I wanna use the Payne's Gray? Do I wanna use the 3? I'm gonna come in with the Warm Gray 3 still. and start at the bottom of the nose and work my way up slowly. Little tiny pencil strokes, watching really closely the direction of the fur, because right around the sides here is where it's going to change really harshly into an arch down the side of the nose. So you want to be able to get that in there in the right direction. So it kind of goes just like that. So that by the time you hit the arch of the nose, then it is... Hey Chris, how are ya? Welcome in, welcome in. When you hit the arch of the nose, then you're automatically already going on a curve. Slowly but surely. Just tiny, tiny, tiny little marks, because if you make it big marks, it's gonna look weird. Because it's gonna look like there's long hair on the nose, and well, there isn't. So we don't want to do that. Hey, how are ya? Are you a knight? Okay, and we're just going to bring that up. And I'm going to get a little bit of... Oh, I don't know what I want to put in there yet. It's like a goldy color. I could do a brown ochre or a raw umber. I could also do a light yellow ochre, but that might be too light. So I think I'm going to do brown ochre. And hope I don't bite it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's always fun. Have you started drawing again? Doing pastels and stuff? I know you were talking about it, but I don't know if you actually did it or not. Umber. You guys should follow A Tonal Ascent because he is a great musician. Him and his wife restore old furniture, which is beautiful. And yeah, it's just good people. You're working. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna avoid that area there that's lighter. Just come around it. And this is gonna be extremely, extremely light because it's just barely there. It's kind of blondie brown color. And just bring it around in the front. And then down the sides a little bit. We'll keep that out because we're going to use it again. You should. You should. It'll be cool. All right, we're going to come in with a bit of the Payne's Gray over top of this warm gray. I'm almost thinking I should put a violet in before that. Most people use Caput Mortem Violet, and I like to use Blue Violet. Actually, that might be it right there. Blue Violet. I was thinking ahead at some point. Not sure when, but I did. Okay. So just at the round of the tip of the nose, very, 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 very faintly, because you will regret it if you don't. Just want to do a light layer of purple violet. Kind of goes up part way, so watch the direction of the fur. Let's see. Okay, just like that. So you can barely notice the violet, but it is there contrasting off the light, so you want to put it in there so it looks realistic. Okay, then we're going to come in again with the Payne's Gray over top of the warm gray and the violet. Just very, 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 very gently put in a layer that's going to go all the way up right over that brown ochre. And hope that it doesn't turn to some weird, ugly, muddy color when we get there. There are days, I'm not even 42 yet, and there are days where I swear to God, I'm having hot flashes because I'm just like, what is going on inside my body? What is that? Okay. Anyways, I had to get that out because I'm just like so overwhelmingly hot. It's ridiculous right now. I'm like, what is going on? I was like shivering before and put on a hoodie. And now I'm like, what was I thinking? Okay. Light pressure. Avoid my yammering about weird hot flashes. Thank you. It's taken some time. I did it yesterday morning, I think, and then I didn't do it all day today. So I would like to get a little bit more done if I can, so it's not just not really gotten too much into it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here where we bring in the Payne's Gray, comes right under into the eye. And then we're just going to move it around here lightly. You have house with women in them. You know what it's like dealing with women in hot flashes. I bet it is not fun. It is not fun. And you know, this is payback because when my mom went through menopause, she was in her 50s, I think. She was older than I was, but oh my God, it was hilarious. She'd be fine 1 minute. She wasn't cranky or none of the like stereotype, get back at it. Yeah, you're good. See you later. She just was really terrible for getting like overly hot. And I'm like, I'm going to pay back one of these days. And yep, I think it's coming. Okay. So slowly building up that gray, just little tiny pencil strokes. So you're not doing individual hairs or anything, but by the time you get the pencil strokes in, it just naturally happens to look like that. So we're just working our way through. Don't go away, picture. Wonder if that is still charging because I was having issues. Slowly charging, but it is. Good. Okay. Just slowly moving way across the fur. It's going to come down a little bit further, but I just want to put in more of the markings so I have a better guide of what I'm doing. So I'm going to come in with the black. And come in right along the bottom into the eye. And again, we're just watching the direction of the fur. It kind of goes in the direction of the eye under here. I'm just going to build it up slowly. I know it's light at first, but just in case you want to make any changes, then it'll be a little bit easier to erase. And then we've got another layer that comes in a little bit more sparsely, kind of. Where are you? Right below the other one. Sort of like that. And then we've got a more thick one under there. Notice how when it comes in on an arch, you want the pencil direction to be in an arch, just like it. So that way it looks like the face is actually rounded because it's supposed to be. Okay, and then we've got another small layer right here. And then there's one more that comes down to here. And if you aren't able to fit all lines in, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. If you can, that would be nice, because that's what it is on the picture. And you want to be careful of that stuff if you're doing a portrait, because that is going to be important in moments like that. So it's good to get in the habit, but I wouldn't beat yourself up over it if it's not exactly. Okay, so I'm just bringing this guy down. I like to bring a bit out here. There's a bit of a twist there. And then right in where the blonde fur is going to go, there's going to be another one. Don't know if I want to wait to put that in or put it in before. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have to come in and erase that. And here's hoping it does erase enough. Maybe not along the edge, because I noticed right along here actually comes out more. I have it going down. There's 2 lines of dark fur going down, and that is not the one that does it. Okay. So I'm going to bring this out, and it's going to come out like this. Like that. And then there's that little bump of extra fur there. And that's not really long. And then this, right about here, there's a second one that comes out and down and actually goes like this. So again, we're still watching the direction of the fur because it is fur and we want it to go in the same direction. Okay. And then, let's see. And then we're gonna have the actual little whisker marks. I don't even know what you call these. The little lines. They're like, almost look like little circles that go into each other. And it starts right about here. They're like little circles. And then they sort of go into each other. Kind of like that. And then we've got our next line of them. Comes about, starts at about the same place. Comes down a little bit straighter and then up. Okay, and then we've got, that is a weird line, but okay, we'll go with it. There's a line right about here of really tiny ones. It goes almost straight across and then just up a little bit like that. All right, and then we've got a dark line underneath for the mouth, which I'll get to once I get all these lines in. Okay, so we've got a line right under the blonde part of the eye. It's not as noticeable as some of the other black marks that we have in there. We're still going to put it in there lightly, and it sort of fades off just about here. Probably should have came in with that a little bit more. I think I'm going to actually. I'm going to erase that. Those markings. Technically, it could probably be the second line of markings, but just in case. Just going in lightly with the pencil eraser, because then it'll keep a lot of my already marked in spots there. But I'm going to go a little bit higher up, right about here, and bring it across. Then it comes down into the rest of this and sort of fades off. Okay. And then I'm going to come down for the next line, is almost right next to it in the beginning. And it comes down just a little bit and stops. Again, watching that fur direction. And then the third line actually comes off of this in the middle and comes out like that. Okay. And then the next one kind of comes down on a curve like this. The idea is not to have it perfect, but to be trying to get it perfect. So that way it still looks really good, but not to like freak out over every single little line being exact. Okay, we're just going to kind of go like that. I'm actually going to go in and darken the side just a little bit more now that I'm seeing it. Just darkening it up just a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, and then we're going to come down and do the side of the face here too. And actually pay attention to what we're doing this time. There is a part that goes up here, just a little bit, because it's going to actually come in to this line. And then down. And then this guy comes down like this. Where is the second line? The second line's going to be on that one. Okay. So he's going to come down. Where does he come down till? Just before the nose. Again, I'm just doing really tiny little pencil strokes and building the black up. Still going in the direction of the fur. And then we're going to come in with this line that's coming down the side of the face. I'm going to come down to about here. We're going to darken it up more right around here. Okay. And then we're going to come down around the nose now. So this one starts right about here. It comes like that. And this one comes in a little bit more, not much. The first one kind of curves in towards the nose. And then just comes about there. It's not going to be as long as the other side because the face is tilted or turned to the side a tad, so it's going to look shorter. And then we've got this weird lined one that comes almost right to here. And it goes right to about there. Okay. Now we're going to mark in the mouth. So most cats have like a little line, even dogs, that go from the nose right down to the mouth. This guy does not have that, which is actually kind of cool because I really don't like that line. I feel like you end up bordering on doing like a Hitler mustache, and that's one thing that's never cute, not even on animals. Well, it can be cute on animals, but more funny cute. We're not looking for that. Okay. Let's see. So we're kind of going to go like this. Bring the hair down. Just building it up because we do have the whiskers that are coming down over top of it. So where we indented it. So that's kind of perfect. So we can see that did its job as well. But we just got to slowly build our way up. When we get to the side of the mouth here, it changes a little bit where it's more sparse, the black. Okay, so this is going to come right up here and peter right off to nothing. So we're going to put that in. And then we get right to the center. It goes a little bit into the next side. And then almost trails off entirely there, which seems weird, but that's where you want to trust the process and just go with it. Because it could simply be the angle of the mouth, like the way the face is angled a little bit different. Okay. And then does that trail off? Nope. So it looks a little weird right now until we get in more of the hair. We do have a little spot right here. And then we have one right about this one. And he's going to come down on a curve. And then down this way. It's gonna get quite thick when we get down there. Okay. We're just going lightly in the direction of the fur, building up that black. Getting the right size we want. Okay. And then this starts to go into the body of the lynx there. So we're gonna leave that there. Then we're gonna come back in with the Payne's Gray, and we're gonna slowly start building up the rest of the face. So this comes down to about the first set of whiskers. Okay, so we're gonna bring that down. Just light pressure, watching that fur direction. And then up. And then there is a line that kind of goes like this, and it actually stays white in between there. So we're gonna leave that just like this. And then again, we're gonna come in on this side. Bring it to this black line here. Just comes down to about the first whisker line of markings there. And then we will go up this way, see how far down it goes. It goes to about here. Just light pencil strokes, just tiny ones to denote the shortness of the fur. Okay, I'm just bringing it around here, down a little bit, and then it's gonna go straight past this little black line that we have here. It's going to come down right about here. It starts to come down. And this is where you'll start noticing that the fur gets longer. And then we'll stop because we're gonna come in with a lighter gray there. And then we're gonna start on this side. So this is where we have, the light casting into it. So it's going to be cut short in parts. Okay, so this comes down. I'm trying to see where this guy is. So it comes down to about here with this guy on this side. And it comes right under there and down. And then we've got this little marking here that comes to here. And we're gonna come in with that warm gray 3 and just go lightly into the areas that are like a really, really pale gray before they peter off into that blonde color. And that starts right about here. So we're just gonna bring it down lightly. It's light pressure. I'm actually gonna go in and erase some of those marks that I have right about here. Okay, I'm gonna do the same here because we're about to come in to this area. We're not gonna want those lines there. So I'm just doing it faintly so I can still see them, but just very, 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 very faintly. Okay. So we're coming down with the gray. And we're still going in the direction of the fur, even though we're coming down. We're just doing a really light pencil strokes so we can see it, and it just sort of comes in a little bit like that. Okay, and then in here, you're gonna notice that it comes down here, very light gray, and starts to come down into this area. Till about here. So we're just gonna fill that little area in. We're also gonna fill in the little areas here above the eyes, the warm gray 3, just lightly. And then we're gonna come in with an even lighter color. This is the cold gray 1. And we're gonna bring this down the rest of it. And you can barely see it because it's almost white, and that's exactly what we're hoping for. And then same with this side, just around here and down in front of that first line of fur, of dark black fur. We're just coming down like that. And then we're gonna bring that same line here up and here up. Okay. Now we're gonna come in with the ivory again. Actually, I'll keep that out. Come in with the ivory again, and we're going to bring it down, kind of in a swooping motion, swooping downwards, like this. Let's see, now I'm gonna get rid of that line. I was putting in some of the markings, but I'd like to do that after. And then under the mouth still. Okay. Okay, and then we're just gonna watch these lines. Okay, so we're bringing these out, and then they're going to shoot out on a curve going downwards. And you cannot really see it yet, but you will see it when we start bringing in the colors into the shoulder. So you want to make sure that you're getting it properly. And then on this side, it swoops out almost straight to the side with just a slight bend. Like that. And I might even bring in a little bit of that ochre color. Is that it there? Oh, it's burnt sienna. You need burnt ochre. Did I put it back? Oh no, I put it up here. Okay, so we're just gonna very, and I mean very, very faintly, bring in the brown ochre in that same area. It's almost like a white blonde color. And just swoop it like this. Okay. And then same here. There's a little bit right along that line. And then it comes down on a weird angle here. Okay. Then we're gonna go back over it with the ivory, what we just put in here. And again on the side, just a quick little blend in, because right here where the mouth is, this needs to be brighter than those hairs. And it comes right around into there. Okay, and then comes down into here with these guys. Okay, so I'm just going to take out those marks around the side where the mouth is, or the muzzle. And it's just my little guidelines that I had in. Okay. And I'm gonna do them in a light ivory, just very, very lightly moving in between the black, away from the face, because that's the direction of the fur. Okay, just like that. Okay. And let's see. Looks like we are just about done. We're gonna bring this down to here now, because it comes down almost like a weird haircut. Again, I'm just gonna get rid of those lines right here. We're using the ivory still. It's gonna come down right underneath the chin and down, and then kind of just still go straight almost, but like in a weird jaggedy edge sort of way. It's very odd. Okay, just like that. Yeah. Now we're going to be going into more of the body, which should be interesting. Okay, we're just going to bring this down a little bit further. We're also going to bring in just a tad of that brown ochre, very faintly again, through, like just barely dusting over it. And since the fur is a little bit longer here, you're gonna have a little bit longer pencil strokes, not the little tiny ones. And we're just gonna run that through there. Okay. And then go over it again with the ivory. And then I'm just gonna grab those lines right there. And right here. Okay. And then I'm just gonna come down with the ivory just like that. Right under the mouth. Okay. So we have officially finished the entirety of the head. And I think what I'm going to do is come back to start doing the rest of the body. So yeah, we will be back tomorrow and continue this. So good luck, guys. Remember, all the reference material is pinned in on the page, so that way you can find everything if you want to draw along with this. But there's also the website you can go to for other free tutorials, as well as a Patreon that's going to be coming out for some more extensive ones that are paid. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.